Welcome everybody to OP Digital Blueprint. We are joined today by an esteemed colleague, Dan Straight. So say hello, Dan, and obviously, and I don't mean to cut you out, Collins. As usual, my stalwart is here, Collins, as well. So Dan, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I'm glad you could join us.
Looking forward to the discussion. It'll be fun.
Yep. Well, today we thought we'd have a little bit of a discussion, as you quite rightly pointed out, Dan. So what we want you to do is to kind of start us and give us your ideas, what you're thinking of today, and we'll kind of follow the flow.
Okay, well, you know, as we discussed a little earlier, I was thinking that we have people in Onpassive that are basically all over the map. You know, we have people that are very experienced. We have a lot of people from, like, for example, Papua New Guinea who really don't have access to any kind of technology whatsoever. We have people that are very, very tech savvy, that enjoy all of the education that you and Collins and all the OTech pros are giving. And then, but I think a lot of people right now, especially when we're just about ready to get going on this, I mean, we can taste it. And a lot of people are a little bit intimidated. So I was thinking about, how do we simplify something as complex as Onpassive? I mean, if you look at what Onpassive states, they say that our AI products will usher in digital transformation for businesses worldwide. Now, if you don't have any tech background whatsoever, that's pretty intimidating, and that's pretty overwhelming for some people. And they're saying, wow, I'm part of this. I am part of this technology. I'm part of this company. How exciting. But so, and then stuff like, how will Onpassive help me organize my everyday tasks, both digitally, while I'm on my computer, and even when I'm off my computer. And you know, Collins did one. You guys had a webinar with Mike not too long ago, and you did one where you were talking about security. And a lot of people are very concerned about security, cybersecurity, passwords. How do I put them online? It was fascinating. It was very, very educational, and a lot of people, I think, really related to that and said, "Wow!" But at the same time, they're scared. They're intimidated. They don't know what to do. And so I thought we might. What I kind of wanted to discuss is a little bit about what I do, and that's all we can do, is talk about what we do to simplify things. And I always get out. I go back to a legal pad right next to my desk, okay, and I write the date on it. And I prioritize all the major things I got to do and some minor things I got to do. Now, I might not have anything to do that day that's of relative importance, but sometimes I do. And I've got to get some things done, because if I don't write it down, I get distracted. I'll sit down at my computer and I will say, okay, I've got to get this done. I got to get this done. And I'll get distracted. I'll look at another icon up there, or I'll go to my Gmail, or I'll go to Onpassive, and I'll log in and I'll forget. What was I here for? I had something important to do and I forgot about it, but I got distracted on my computer. And I think that happens to a lot of people. So I break it down, I write those things down, and I look back at my list, and I will get back on track. So, and completing tasks, you know, I think it's very, very important that you break down the major stuff, the small stuff, the major stuff into doable tasks. Don't get overwhelmed by things, and be able to break down something that's big into smaller doable things over a period of time, but stay consistent on that. I'll give you a perfect example. I recently didn't have a will or a trust, okay? So I wanted to set up a trust, a living trust, because it doesn't go through probate. Now, here in the United States, we have probate. If I passed away, I have a will, it goes through probate, it's a public record, and everybody knows how much money I have, what I'm doing, where my who my beneficiaries are, and how everything's distributed. And if I have a living trust, though, it's private. It takes a lot of work to set that thing up, but I did it, and it took a long time, but I broke it down into small tasks and did it. It was overwhelming, but at the same time, I got it done. So completing a task like that doesn't take much time, and it will eliminate stress. For example, like none of us are tech people until we learned how to do it. We don't go on our computer and automatically know how to do everything on our computer. I mean, even Collins, he had to learn it. He had to take it one small step at a time until he became an expert in his field. And that's just diligence. That's just a desire to want to learn. And so, I admire and respect, and I will seek out advice from an expert in the field like Collins. And Andy, he didn't learn financial planning. You didn't learn everything there was to know about financial planning overnight. You had to systematically gain that knowledge over a period of time. And you were able to, because that's an ever-changing field. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's stuff that's changing on a regular basis. I mean, look at Andy. So he has to be able to help people manage their own finances. And in order to do that, he has to stay up on everything. So those are small things, and systematically he's learning his trade. Now, I was in the medical world. I had to learn anatomy, and I had to learn an entire new language in order to communicate with surgeons. And it was critical to my success, because if I couldn't communicate about the area of the anatomy that we were going to address and we were going to try and fix, and he was going to use my products, I would not be successful. So my point is that this stuff doesn't happen overnight, and learning the complexities of Onpassive, for example, it's been done for you. This company, all of the complexities are behind the scenes, and Onpassive, it has made the complex very simple for us. You just have to make the commitment to join in on the fun. And there's certain responsibilities that you have for your business that you have to take into consideration. I mean, if you look, and we're talking about simplicity here and simplifying your business, you look at what Onpassive says in the back office. You go to onpassive.com, and on the website, we say, simplify your enterprise infrastructure with streamlined solutions. Okay, well, Onpassive did all that complex stuff behind the scenes, and you know what I'm talking about, Collins, and I don't have a clue about it, but you do. So my suggestion is just make it fun, and you'll enjoy every step of the way to your success, but you have to take some responsibility for your business. That's what I have, guys.
No, Dan, I am totally in agreement. I love what they call the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. And what you have to do these days is you have to understand a little, but often. Because the more you take that baby step, the more you understand. And as your knowledge grows, so does your confidence with what's going on. So I'm going to ask you, Collins, because you, my friend, are the technical guru, right? So how do you, and to be fair, my friend, you take the webinars that you've done, you explain things in a way that even I can understand, and I am not technically minded in the slightest, and I love that. So how do you make things simple? How would you explain to people the business in simplistic terms?
Thank you, Andy. Dan, you've just really brought a really good topic, about keeping it simple. I remember the first OTech Pro meeting we had, it was about keeping it simple. Don't make it too difficult. Because when you make technology really complex, people get scared and they don't even want to push a button. There are people who will look at a button, they say, no, I don't want to touch it. Or if they see something on their screen, they don't understand, they just abandon it. Maybe it's something just really simple. But nowadays, they're making technology where, they want everybody to use it. So they make it more user-friendly, where if there is an error message, you'll not see like that HTTP, some type of crazy thing you cannot read. They'll just tell you, oh, an error occurred because maybe you put your details wrongly. please can you kindly re-enter your details. So they give you a user-friendly message for you not to be afraid. So this is what Onpassive is doing, taking complex solution, you know, and then break it down, make it easy in such a way that anybody can use. You know, it's for everybody, because if it was that difficult, I don't think Mr. Mufareh would say, all right, people, you know, it will just bring people from countries that technology are not really great. You know, there are countries that technology is still growing, and there are some that they are still struggling. But now they say, you know what, wherever you are, you know, even whatever part of this world, of the globe you are, you can still use Onpassive as long as you have a good internet connection. That is it. So you look at it, and if you look at the concept of Onpassive, what is the concept? It's about doing less. They don't expect you to do anything. It's about doing less. Which I said, the concept is about doing less. You know, it's about doing what again? It's about paying less. You don't have to pay too much. So you do less, you pay less, and then you earn more. That's the concept, with the ability to do what? To do good to humanity. So the concept is about doing good to humanity by not really understanding it. You don't need to know all mail if you don't want to use it. You don't need to know the whole technicality of O-Trim, O-Dex, all the products that are coming. They are all products, but you don't need to know what is happening. It's just like if we look at a modern car nowadays, what do? I'm not a mechanic. I don't even know the engine, how the engine said. But the only thing I want to do is, can I put my key, start the engine, and then drive and go? The only thing I need to know is how to drive. I don't need to know the technicality. Even sometimes there are cars that are doing, first, I didn't even know where to put water. Can you imagine that? I don't even know. I need to call the garage. Where do I put water? Where do I put this? Because it is not my job to know all of that. And there are many people like that who doesn't know. My only thing I want to do is, can I start the car? You know, can I drive the car and go? That is all. The rest technicality, I don't want to even know it. So a lot of people, that's how they build Onpassive. You don't need to really worry yourself to know all of those things, but the only thing is just do what Mr. Mufareh said. Go in, activate your account. How do I activate it? Follow the steps. It's easy to do it. How do I push that button to make sure I'm activated? What do I need to do? Just simple thing that anybody can do. That's how Onpassive is designed. You know. So Andy, I'll just
absolutely. No, listen, I love the analogy that you give us, and as I said, I like the KISS principle. So for me, my understanding is very simple. My understanding is that Onpassive creates us an online shop, and in that shop we put products, and those products they have created. But this is an online shop. It's not a corner shop like Pete Rogers has, where you have to constantly buy stock. We buy it once in a month, and it's sold infinite times, technically or potentially. And at the end of that month, we subscribe to it again. But there's commission that's come in that covers us to do that. And then they add another product, and that might be a free product, that might be another paid product. So what we do into our online shop is we add another product into that online shop, so that Onpassive can now offer not just the first paid product, but the second paid product, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and so on, all the way through. So the more products we have in our online shop, the more likely we are to have sales and customers coming in. And this is really the key. We are just starting. We're just in the beginning of this awesome opportunity where we have a product that's about to go viral, and that's a video conferencing platform. Now, we know that there are several out on the marketplace, but none can reach or achieve what we already have. And I love the analogy that Collins used previously, where the other platforms have built their foundation on a two-story house. Ours is is built on a kilometre wide and a kilometre deep, and we could go to the moon. The problem that you've got with this two-story house and the foundations for it is you're trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation for a two-story house. At some point, it has to collapse. It cannot sustain that size of a building. What we've done is gone the complete opposite and said, look, what we've got is an AI-induced technology that actually has this capability to expand our foundations out and down for us to enable our products to go to the moon. And again, in simplistic terms, it means that we have products far superior to what's available out in the marketplace today. And more importantly, for some, for me, it's the superiority of the product, but for some, it's cost. And most businesses look at cost first and foremost. So when you have a product that actually does what it says on the tin and is far superior to its nearest closest rival, why would you not move across and start using it? It doesn't make sense to me. So we have a product right now that we've been paying $125 a month for that has the capability of 10,000 attendees. Our nearest closest rival charges $6,500 a month for that. Ours is 125. Now, if you have a product that does exactly what it says on the tin for a fraction of the cost of the next closest rival, why would you not even try it? Of course you would. So Dan, let's take this to the next level. We know that there are various products that we've got in the system right now that do exactly what it says on the tin. And we've been told, or we've been given the impression that we're likely to go viral very shortly. But what are your thoughts on what we have right now and how simple this is, and the fact that the vast majority of the guys that have become affiliates already are not likely to use it to the capacity that they're given?
That's right. I think about the example Marty gives about the Walmart ladies and how all the products in the Walmart store. And he said, I can guarantee you they don't use any one of those products, but they have them in the store and they're getting paid commission off of those products, and a little tiny bit of commission off of those products. Now, that's the I think the intimidation factor, but it's also the exciting part of this business. This business is, I don't know what we have. Like Ash says, if you know 1%, you're in a great place. We don't know the capacity and the magnitude of everything that we have with Onpassive. And a lot of the products that we have, maybe we've seen something similar, but do we know how, do we know how amazing they're going to be? And do we know how each one of them work? No. But that's the exciting part, is that you can pick and choose what you want to learn. But like you say, Andy, you're going to want to have that product. If it's a paid product, you're going to want to have, you want to buy it and you want to have it in your store. Because if you don't have it in your store, you're not going to get revenue. You can't generate revenue off of something that you haven't got in your store. So that's the exciting part, whether you learn it or not. But I think my prediction is that there's going to be so many people that are going to be so excited about all the products as they come out. They're going to want to learn them. They're going to want to get a basic knowledge of what these products are all about. And I'm one of them. I mean, I'm a little older than most of the people in Onpassive. And I'll tell you, I learn what I have to learn to produce. It's like our iPhones. My iPhone, I know what I have to know to make it function for me, but it's capable of so much more than I know. But I can learn it step by step. I can figure it out. And if I want to try something, experiment with something, I can do it. And I think that's going to be the way it is with all of the products with Onpassive. We're going to be so excited about just learning what they can do. And, you know, as long as we have them in our store, and as long as we're, you know, just experimenting them, like we all say all the time, you're not going to break it. Go into OConnect by yourself and just play around with it. You're not going to break it, and just figure out what's going on. But I think it's important for everybody to understand, do it, have fun with it. Don't get intimidated by it, because you can't break it, and you'll probably find that you'll enjoy it, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it. And it's exciting. We've got to continually stimulate our learning and our knowledge, and I'm excited about all of the stuff that we potentially have to learn. And then you even think about Academy, and even if you don't want to learn the products, the individual products, and you aren't going to use some of the products of Onpassive, but you've purchased them and you've got them in your store, you could go to Academy and get a PhD in whatever you want. You could learn another language. You can do whatever you want. So there's so many possibilities that are just so exciting. I mean, we could. I'm excited, as you can tell. I mean, this is about as excited as I get, but I'm excited to talk about Onpassive and the potential and just the future that we all have. I mean, a lot of lives are going to be changed. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. And by the way, Dan, you don't look a day older than Collins. What I want to make sure that people understand is that there are going to be an awful lot of products that do come out into our ecosystem that we will never use as affiliates. So the concern or the worry is, don't. There's no necessity to worry about it. You know, we're going to have OTracker shortly, a website analytical system that we may never use, but we're going to put it in our store in order to make things be able to be sold. So the more that goes in the store, the more that can be sold. So never, ever concern yourself or worry about the products. It's like electricity. I don't know how electricity works, but I know if I turn a switch, the light comes on. Okay, so it's exactly the same scenario with Onpassive. We have all of these various products, and this is why I've got Collins to make it simpler. So over to you, my friend.
Yeah, I like the analogy. You turn the switch. What happened? The light, you know, the light just came on. What will happen? The energy company, they are happy for you to turn the switch on because they are making money. If you don't turn it on, no money is coming. It's same thing like Onpassive. You own the product as an affiliate. What happened? Go to sleep, and the system will do the rest for you. You know, and that's what Warren Buffett said. He said, if you don't look for a way, you know, to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. You know, and this is it, because they build it, they automate it for us to enjoy the beauty. The idea is about giving you time and financial freedom for those who comes into Onpassive to make commission. But think about the hundreds of millions of those who will come, not because they want to make commission out of Onpassive, but they want to enhance their business using the Onpassive solution. For instance, we're talking about OStaff, human resource software. The companies that will come in, millions of them will use OStaff, one, because of the quality of OStaff and because of the value that OStaff will provide for them and the price point. That is why company will come in, because we should remember that most of the products are more company-based. Some of them here will use as individual, but OStaff, I will never use OStaff. I will never use OTracker. These are all company-based tools, solutions, software solutions. So company will come in their numbers because of the quality and the price point. Even video conferencing, we are saying, we look at it, how many individuals who have like meetings with their family every day? It's difficult, but companies will be using what? OConnect to run hundreds of meetings. One company can run how many meetings a day? Calculate the number of meetings that goes within a company a day. think about month, how many of them? So this tool, most of them are for businesses. And there are millions and millions of businesses out there. We're talking about 5.5 or 6 billion internet users. You know, majority of them are companies, you know, medium, you know, small and large size corporation who are looking for what Onpassive is building. So now what we need to do as an affiliate, those who are in to win it, to make something out of it, you just need to own it. You don't need to worry about it. The moment you own it, the companies come in and they buy it from your platform. Remember, Mr. Ajifra created the business and replicate it for as many people who want to become affiliate. So, and that's the only thing we need to do, making sure you own it and then allow the system to work for you while you sleep. So, Andy, over to you.
This is, as I said, I love the way that Collins puts things into a simplistic system for us, because, you know, I'm sure you're like me, Dan. I'm not technical. I'm not interested in the technical aspects. I just want to know what it's going to cost me, what it'll do for me, and how it's going to make a difference. Now, from a company perspective, this is where it really starts to kick in, because, you know, there are so many companies out there that struggle with, I've got to buy this product to do that. I've got to buy this product to do that. I've got to buy this product to do that. Whereas ours is all under one roof, single sign-on, and we will have something for everyone in there. And the beauty of it is that at some point in the future, very near future, you'll have packages specifically tailor-made to companies wanting, well, I want this, but I don't need that, but I want that, and I don't need that. And this is something that's never ever been done before. So Dan, give us some thoughts on what you think about the difference it's going to make to some of these companies, and why it's so important for this potential opportunity to pick and choose exactly what you need.
Well, yeah, I think that it's very important right now, just because of the fact that you look at and Ash has talked about this. I mean, it's a struggle for a lot of companies out there right now. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are looking at ways to cut their expenses, and they aren't even aware that there's something of superior quality. I think we have to emphasize that the superior quality and technology out there that Onpassive is going to provide for them at a lower cost. I mean, that's just a perfect storm for a lot of these companies to stay in business. And there's a lot of companies that are struggling with the expenses of staffing, with the expense of human resources, with the expenses of holding their meetings online and spending in their monthly outlay is all over the place. And you brought up a good point, Andy. I mean, all under one umbrella, one sign in, use what you want, pick and choose. There you've got, and they don't have to use everything in Onpassive. They have a store there. They can shop for what they think their company needs, and it's going to save them a tremendous amount of money. And that helps individuals as well, because they're going to be able to keep people employed. Whereas they would have to lay people off because their expenses are so high, they can now keep, individuals will be able to keep their jobs.
Now, my understanding, Collins, is that, and I've come across this in a couple of companies where they've had to have a specific accounts package that they've paid for, and that could cost up to £5,000 a month, about $6,500, maybe $7,000 a month. And then they've had to have an HR package that is, again, the specific software for that cost another £1,000 a month. And then there's another product that does this and another product that does that. And all these people have to sign out of this and sign into that, sign out of this and sign into that. You know, we've got our staff coming, and we know a little bit about it. So we're not going to comment on what it can and can't do. But my point being here, here, Collins, is that you know better than anyone about the costs of individual software accounts and what difference this is going to make to everybody, and particularly these type of companies that have to buy these various packages to be able to do the job that they normally do.
Yes, Andy, that's a good point. I was just about to elaborate on this point, the point that you've just given. It's true, because when you look at most of the software now in the market, majority of them are really expensive. Yeah, you can say, yeah, they are quality software, but the pricing is the killer. And most business struggle because they cannot afford some of these products and services in the market. So they try to do things manually, and then the turnaround time is really slow. The customers get dissatisfied and they decide to disappear to look for a better way, but there is never a better way. But now there is a question here a lot of people will ask: why is Onpassive product and services good value for money? Let us look at it. It's high quality. We know the quality is of top. But why is it different from others when it comes to pricing? Now, let's look at the pricing. Why? Now, most of the other companies, if you look at it, for them to get proper tool, especially if you're an IT company, to build it, the tools that they use is expensive. You have to purchase that, get license for it, and it say you are using Microsoft tool to build your package. Microsoft will still charge you more. You're using Amazon to store the data. Amazon will charge you more. What happened to all the pricing and all the cost that this company they are incurring? What will happen? They will pass down that cost to who? The consumers. But now let's look at Onpassive, the model of Onpassive. Building the software, bringing everything in-house. Say, no, we don't want any third party, because third party will charge us more. For us to go and purchase tools and services, yes, we'll get some, not like they can build everything, no. But they want to cut down costs as much as possible by bringing everything in-house. What Onpassive can build, Onpassive will build it. For instance, let's look at Active Directory tools. A lot of people don't know Onpassive have Active Directory internally. Mr. Mufareh said it time. To have that, you have to buy it from Microsoft or all the other company. Onpassive decide to build their own in-house because it is very expensive. Now, when you are building most of them, payment processor in-house, your product and services in-house, having your own data center, what you are doing, you are cutting down costs and eliminating third-party supplier. So now, at the long run, what will happen? You will have a very high quality product of higher standard, and you can determine the price, because there is no third party to tell you, pay me this, give me this every month. No, our cost is going up, you have to pay us. All of those things. So Onpassive is trying to eliminate all those third party supplier, the cost that they can incur, because at the end of the day, Onpassive can say, yes, we want all of this third party, but then they will push the cost down to us, who the consumers. So when you eliminate that during your production cycle, what happened? You can put it and afford your product in an affordable price, where people will say, yes, I love this product. It's doing what I want the product to do to save my business, and then the price is good, so I am ready to stick with them. And that's Onpassive.
Yep. Yeah, I'll add one thing to that. In addition to us starting at the top and providing this superior technology, what does that do to our competition? Well, the competition, and we've talked about this before, the competition has to retool if they want to compete. And that's very, very expensive. And when Ash says, we're at least 5 years ahead of the competition, I really do believe that. I really do believe that the technology that we have is so superior, and at the price point that it could put a lot of these our competition out of business.
Yeah,
I think this is a really good point, and something that a lot of us tend to not understand. And I think the key for us and everybody on here today is, what we should do is really start to share this with the other guys that we know that are in our group. because what's missing at the moment is there are 1.4 million early birds, and out of that 1.4 million, there's probably 50% of those that actually don't get it, never really engaged with what was going on. But it's only when you do sales, it's all about objections, and the objection is 9 times out of 10, I don't understand, give me more information. And that is exactly what's happening with Onpassive. We have all of these guys that are not engaging in what's going on because they simply haven't looked at it or looked a little closer as to what's going on. So it's, I don't understand, give me more information. So please, people, make sure that you share as much information as you possibly can with everybody that you know that is part of Onpassive. Because let's face it, the more people that understand, the quicker the company grows. And I'm a numbers guy, as everybody knows. And I know that when this thing goes viral, which is likely to happen sooner rather than later, you're going to have a number of people put into your customer base very quickly. And let's say, for argument's sake, that's 3. If you're on your own, we know it goes 3 plus your 1 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, plus your 4 is 16, and so on. And you will very quickly achieve an income level with the group scenario that you wouldn't have had prior to that if you didn't do something, if you didn't understand. So Dan, I really appreciate you coming on this evening and joining us. What are your final thoughts? How would you encourage others to get to understand what's going on?
Well, I think the people that want to understand will. And I think that the people that don't want to engage in this process won't. So, you know, it's very difficult to try and convince somebody that really doesn't want to engage. I struggle with, I don't have any problem at all. And I enjoy helping somebody that's really digging into it and saying, gosh, I know this, I know this, I know this, and I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to do this, but I don't understand this. And how can you help me? Yes, I can. But I have a problem with somebody that hasn't logged into their account in 3 months and then calls me and says, Dan, update me on what's going on. I haven't logged in 3 months. Well, then go into your back office, log in, go to the updates, get yourself educated, get yourself caught up. Because we are moving a message to people, really, is we are moving so fast right now that if you don't, you're going to fall behind and you will be left behind and you will miss a cycle of customers into your account. And so there's certain things that we all have to do. There's certain responsibilities that we all have to take for our business. And if we don't do those, we will suffer the consequences. So it's tough love in a way, but at the same time, sometimes it kicks people into gear to take responsibility and learn what they need to learn. And it's not much. It's very simple. You know, it's a piece of cake, really, if you just engage a little bit.
We're back to the KISS principle again. I love it.
Kiss it.
Yeah,
Kiss it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the most enjoyable part for me is not being technical. I'm learning every day because I'm taking a baby step every day to do something to help me understand the business. So, Collins, final thoughts from you, my friend.
Yeah, you know, like as Dan said, it's the same thing with me. You know, it is always good to help because you help people. But again, when someone go and stay for a couple of months and then turn around and say, please update me, it's really, for me, I really find it sometimes disrespectful, you know, which is not really good because just like, where have you been? You're not logging in and there's nothing. So the only thing I can do is to point you directly to your back office to go and read and get yourself involved. But, you know, the best thing to do is for you to be engaged. And if you don't understand it, you can point out exactly what you don't understand, and someone can help you take it from there, rather than telling the person, update me. Because where will I start? Where can I start to update you? I don't even know where you left it in the first place. So let us just be engaged. Take baby step. You know, it is so easy, but it depends now on us. Just baby step. But it's just so easy, you know, you can just, Onpassive is really easy. And we have, I always said in most webinars, we have 24 hours a day. And if you cannot spend just 5 minutes to go to your update, read it, or 10 minutes, or those who are a little bit slow, or 15 minutes, then I'm just like asking myself, why are you in Onpassive in the first place? Because it is your business, and we must take responsibility for our business. Read and understand and learn how to run our online shop.
Fingers crossed, guys, that we can get more and more of these guys that aren't currently engaged to join us. But as Dan quite rightly pointed out, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. So fingers crossed, but do what you can to help everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dan. Really appreciate that. And thank you, Collins, as always. You're as eloquent as always, and you make things so simple for me. So I appreciate that. Thank you, guys, for joining us. We'll see you again next week.